Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, I think this morning was the first morning that really has felt like fall. You know, that we're in the false fall this week. And this morning it had a good, real chill, not just barely. Like, we woke up in the 50s. Feels like fall. It's really cloudy today, so it's going to keep the temperature down. Should be pretty cool most of the day, but don't get your hopes up, folks, because it's not fall yet. Although I was seeing, for those of you in the Ozarks, the prediction for this winter is that a colder, heavier snow winter. Now, those long range predictions are not very accurate most of the time, but it's something to think about as you're kind of gearing up for winter. You know, those of us that live way out in the sticks and homestead, things like that, you got to think about it. You know, how much wood do you need for the winter? Because some of you, like us, that's our only heat source. We burn wood. So we have to get that, make sure we've got enough of that. Other things. So be thinking about that. I know it's not close to winter at all, but now's really the time to start thinking about that when you live out, you know, the stuff that you need to start preparing. So start doing that. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on in the news. I actually have notes. I usually don't take notes. I just kind of rattle things off from memory, but there's just a lot of stuff. And I wanted to cover some because I think that they're important. It's tracking the demise of our society. Oh, isn't that such a pleasant thing? Before I get going, I do want to mention our big monthly meeting is this coming Sunday, the 31st. Same time, same place as always. This will be a really good one. We are going to be talking about AI, the good, the bad, the ugly, what we have to look forward to. The guy that is presenting this time, he's an AI industry expert. Like he's an IT guy, and he works a lot with AI, and he's one of us. So it's not like he's just an outsider that happens to know about AI. No, he's a prepper, a Bible solid, whole Bible believer, but he also works in the industry. So he's going to come and give a class on what to expect and how to prepare and defend yourself against it. So this Sunday, 2 p.m. is when we start. Doors open at 11. It's family friendly. It's a potluck. So if you can, bring a covered dish, that would be great. We also have the open market. So there'll be, vendors there. There's no charge to be a vendor. It's just, we have so many tables and it's a first come, first serve. That's all it is. All right. So, Russia has stated that there is no meeting planned between Putin and Zelensky. Now, the American side has been saying for the last week that, and if you remember, Trump stated that he'd worked out a meeting, a face-to-face meeting between Zelensky and Putin. Russia says that's not happening. They say they have no meeting plan. It's not happening. It can't happen because now they're claiming that Zelensky is the illegitimate leader of Ukraine, and so that he can't even negotiate any kind of ceasefire or peace agreement or sign anything because he's an illegitimate leader of Ukraine, and so they will not talk to him. So I guess that means that it's not like ceasefire, peace, nothing's going to happen unless Ukraine gets rid of Zelensky. We'll see. I mean, who knows? Big retailers, Walmart, Home Depot, Target, have said that they're starting to see and feel the tariffs. Some of their prices they've had to raise. So you all have probably felt that in some of things. And they're saying that it's just getting started. Like it's just the tip of the iceberg right now, because, if you understand, number one, the tariffs, a lot of times when they said, oh, we're going to impose a 50% tariff or 10% or 25% or whatever it is, they may have stated that, but the tariff didn't actually kick in for a while. Well, a lot of these tariffs have started to kick in. And then it takes a while for it to trickle down to the store. Some of this stuff takes a month to get from China to here. And then it sets in warehouses. It's got to move around on trains and, all this kind of stuff. So by the time it gets to your store shelf, there was several months there, and potentially. And so these retailers are saying that it's going to get significantly worse, that inflation is going to go up quite a bit. And they're predicting that the average household is going to be spending another $2,400 to $2,500 a year just in additional tariffs. So, so for those of you, which is probably most of you, I think most of you average, not highly wealthy person, you're kind of just getting by. Maybe you can put a little in savings. Maybe occasionally you can do something nice. But most people, they're kind of struggling. They don't have a lot of extra income. And so adding another $2,400, $2,500 a year could be very significant. It could absolutely break some people. So something to think about. Last night or yesterday, it was announced that the National Guard in D.C. would now be armed. Now, this is something that we have rarely seen in American history, where National Guard and military troops not only are in American streets in a law enforcement capacity, but that they are armed. Usually they are not. And so it was announced that starting last night that the National Guard in D.C. would be armed. And Trump also stated today that they're looking at Baltimore as being one of the next cities. They're already working on the plans of deploying in Chicago. That should be the next one. The president also stated that New York. Now they're saying also Baltimore. And it's just going to be city after city. So, yeah, get ready for that. Israel, in their war there in Gaza Strip, they bombed a hospital. Now, of course, the Israeli side is the hospital was run by Hamas. And that they were holding up terrorists, but there was also, actual patients there. But it looks bad. I mean, I know the media likes to spin things and stuff, but it's kind of hard to not see the footage that they bombed the hospital. Looks to be about a dozen people killed. Some of them were journalists. And then, it doesn't look faked, but there's footage of them going in and trying to rescue people out of the rubble, and those rescuers were bombed. So, it's a mess. I understand that there's two sides to this. I understand that Hamas and these, Islamic terrorist groups are absolutely horrible. I get it. But there's two sides to every story, and it doesn't look good. 3 more ships are being deployed to Venezuela. That will bring the number up to 6 U.S. naval battleships. These, I think, are destroyers, but so we're building that up. Media in Russia is reporting that Russia is considering, and probably will, send attack drones to Venezuela to kind of bolster their defenses against the United States being there. The United States claims they're there to stop the drug flow out of Venezuela. And I understand that a lot of it comes through ships, but that's not the only way that it's leaving. So, Venezuela is taking this as a threat to their, national security. So they have called up their military reserves and preparing and doing all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It looks like a potential conflict, maybe. Venezuela does have the largest, by far, oil reserves on the planet, several times more than what the United States or even Russia has. So, there's that. The United States says that they do not recognize the leadership in Venezuela, says that it's illegitimate, just like Russia is saying that Zelensky's illegitimate. So who knows what's going to happen there. And then something that, some people may say is nothing because he just talks a lot, but I think it's something. Elon Musk, he's been really quiet, but he's starting to become a little bit, I've noticed he's been talked about a little bit more. He kind of got quiet there for a while. Well, he's come out saying that he believes that in the next 5 to 10 years, that there will be more robots in existence than humans. That one seems to be a stretch, because unless you factor in the depopulation of the population. So, if half of the population dies off in the next 5 to 10 years, which a lot of people believe that's the plan, or maybe more than half, 50 to 80% is what a lot of people believe is going to happen. So if you take that in consideration, could there be? Yeah, that definitely could be. But so when asked, well, what's going to happen? Like, what are all these robots that you think are going to be built? He says, well, of course they're going to be, and I'm paraphrasing, they're going to be doing work, labor, servant factories, all this kind of stuff. And then when asked about, well, how are the people that are being replaced by robots, where are they going to get their money from? And he says it'll be a universal income, not basic income, but high income. That's the plan, is that people will stay home, not have to work, be basically little drones locked up in their home. The robots will do the work, and then you'll get a salary. Now, you can roll your eyes at this or whatever, but let's just pause for a moment. Number one, as cheesy as it sounds, what was that cartoon movie? I don't remember the name of it. Someone's going to pop in the comments and leave it, but it's one of the cartoon movie where it was the little robot, and it's in the future, and everyone was real big and fat and hovered around on these wheelchair things, whatever it was. But even more so than that, because that's kind of a silly example, I get it. Yuval Noah Harari. I've spoken about him many times. This is the guy that was the top advisor for, and still is, for the World Economic Forum. He's been an advisor under the Obama administration, all kinds of stuff, written several books. He's praised as by the left and by the globalists as one of the greats. He has specifically said these things, that, in the future, and we're not talking decades or centuries in the future, we're talking a few years, we're talking the 2030 thing, like after 2030, that, a lot of people won't have work. They'll just stay at home. They'll be controlled. They'll have their virtual reality stuff on, and they'll just sit there and they'll live in this, they'll be this drone in this virtual reality world, and things will be taken care of by robots, and that there will be a certain amount of population that's just not needed anymore. So they got to get rid of them. This is also eerily similar to the movie Matrix. So I don't think it's too far off of being a possibility. If you really dig in, I know it sounds absurd, like it's this absurd dystopian future, but if you really dig in to what a lot of these elites, these technocratic elites, have talked about and written about, that is it. That they want everyone to be just this mindless drone. They would be happy to get rid of a lot of people, but, we'll just make everyone these mindless drones. They, get plugged into the system, and they just sit there and get hopped up on their vaccines and all the artificial stuff. And, reproduction will be done artificially. China has announced that they're coming out with a fully artificial womb robot that it will, from start to finish, grow a baby and birth a baby. So this is the future. I know it sounds absurdly ridiculous. I get it. And we kind of, wink and grin and, laugh sarcastically about it. But the fact is this is exactly what they all talk about, and they're dead serious about it. So you need to wake up. This technocratic future, AI-driven, demonic future that we have in store, you need to be aware of it, and how much of it is already affecting your life and directing it, and how to prepare for it. That's why you should come to the meeting this weekend if you're at all able to, because you're going to learn a lot. So we need to wake up and get prepared. This is the future, folks. The future is here, and it's not a good one. I mean, they're going to wrap it up and make it look pretty. It's a brave new world. It's going to look wonderful, but it's going to be dark and evil in a level that I don't think we can even comprehend right now. They want your soul. They want to separate you from God. That's the end result. They want you to accept them as your Lord and Master and reject Jesus, Yeshua. I mean, I don't know how to say it any more plain and simple. So you need to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.